Chapter 19 of the Book of Judges in the Bible describes a tragic incident involving a Levite and his concubine. The story is considered one of the most disturbing passages in the Bible due to the violence and immorality portrayed. At that time, there was no king in Israel. It happened that a Levite who lived in the mountains of Ephraim in a remote region took for himself a concubine who was from Bethlehem in Judah, but she was unfaithful to him, left him and returned to her father's house in Bethlehem in Judah. 4 months later, her husband convinced her to return. He had taken his servant and 2 donkeys. The woman took him into her father's house, and when her father saw him, he rejoiced. His father-in-law, the girl's father, convinced him to stay there, and he stayed with them for 3 days, eating, drinking, and sleeping there. On the 4th day he got up early, and the Levite prepared to leave, but the girl's father said to his son-in-law, "Eat something and then you can leave." The 2 sat down to eat and drink together, but the girl's father said, "I ask you to stay tonight and rejoice." When the man got up to leave, his father-in-law convinced him to stay that night. After a few days, the Levite finally left for home, and that is when the entire tragedy occurs. The man left for Jebus, that is, Jerusalem, with 2 saddled donkeys and his concubine. When they were near Jebus and the day was almost over, the servant said to his master, "Come, let us stop at this city of the Jebusites and spend the night here." His master replied, "No, we will not enter a foreign city whose people are not Israelites. We will go to Gibeah." And he added, "Come on, let's try to get to Gibeah or Ramah and spend the night in one of those places." So they went on, and the sun set as they approached Gibeah, Benjamin. They went there to spend the night. They went to sit in the city square, and no one invited them to spend the night at home. That night, an old man from the mountains of Ephraim, who was living in Gibeah, the men there were Benjamites, returned from his work in the field. When he saw the traveler in the town square, the elderly man asked, "Where are you going? Where are you coming from?" He replied, "We are on a journey, going from Bethlehem in Judah to a remote region in the mountains of Ephraim, where I live. I went to Bethlehem in Judah, and now I am going to the sanctuary of the Lord. Here no one has welcomed me into their home. We have straw and fodder for our donkeys, and for ourselves, who are your servants, we have bread and wine. For me, for my concubine, and for the young man who is with us, we lack nothing." "You are welcome in my home," said the elderly man. "I will assist you with whatever you need. Don't spend the night in the square." And he took them to his house and fed the donkeys. After washing their feet, they ate and drank something. When they were entertained, some strays from the city surrounded the house, banging on the door. They shouted for the elderly man, the owner of the house, to bring out the man who entered his house so that we could have sex with him. The owner of the house came out and said to them, "Don't be so wicked, my friends, since this man is my guest. Don't do this madness. See, here is my virgin daughter and my guest's concubine. I will bring them to you, and you can use them and do with them whatever you want. But do nothing with this man, do not commit such madness." But the men would not listen to him. So the Levite sent his concubine outside, and they raped and abused her all night. When dawn came, they left her. At daybreak, the woman returned to the house where her master was staying. She fell at the door and remained there until daylight. When her master got up in the morning, he opened the door of the house and went out to continue his journey. There was his concubine lying at the entrance of the house, with her hands on the doorstep. He said to her, "Get up, let's go." There was no response. So the man put her on his donkey and went home. When he arrived home, he took a knife and cut his concubine's body into 12 parts and sent them to all the regions of Israel. All who saw this said, "No such thing has been seen or done since the day that the Israelites left Egypt." Think, reflect, say what should be done. The meaning of this chapter can be interpreted in different ways, but it is generally considered a tragic account that highlights the moral decay and lack of leadership during the period of the judges in Israel. It also emphasizes the need for righteousness and justice. However, interpretations may vary according to specific religious traditions and beliefs. Leave in the comments what you understand and how you interpret the story told in Judges 19. Thank you and see you next time.